little bit of everything. To switch subjects though, like, you know, like if we were to say like, you know, what have you done in life? I mean, you know, like for instance, you've been a musician at times.
Yeah. I got some stuff on Spotify.
A host, help me out here, an athlete,
a wrestler.
That's kind of a
athlete
entertainer.
Falls together.
I know,
together.
Specifically.
Yeah, an actor. You know, like I mean, it's like Jabari's done a little bit of everything.
Directing.
Dabbled in a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like crafting like who you are today.
Yeah. I wish I could do it all.
What does your mom think about all this?
Oh, they're proud and everything. You know.
Where'd they live?
Shreveport.
Oh,
My parents. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any little cousins or anything like that?
I do. I recently lost one like 2 years ago.
Oh, no.
My closest ones, but I still got like 2 or 3 left.
Wow. So, do they watch you like your journey? And
if it's online, then nobody. My parents are the only ones that probably. Well, not my mom. She probably see me maybe twice. Because they're an hour behind. So
okay.
You know, they would have to get up at like 2 a.m. to watch me. But my dad does because he doesn't have a sleep schedule and he watches.
Oh,
but
right
if the clips would have to be like online or something.
So that's what I was going to ask you, like your support like system. Your dad's very supportive at what you do, and your mother.
Absolutely. He'll text me after a shoot or something like that, or after I get off the air and make fun of what I just said or something. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know he's watching, so I got to be careful what I say.
You're right.
I think that's always good though to have that support from a family member.
I think so. Yeah. Always got to have that one good support. At least if you can't get 2 or 3 or 4, get one good one. That's somebody who knows who you are.
Right.
I mean, like not even your parents, like a friend, because you can't get nasty with your parents, like talk about stuff, but you can get nasty with a friend and get in some dark places, you know, and to have that support and somebody who knows who you are, and
go back to
no judgment. I think it's a big word I'm looking for. It's, you know, it's a big help.
That's kind of like why we started off with this podcast, though, is like Chris wanted to like reach out to young men and like, you know, try to get through to them and help them like have knowledge and things like that to grow, to get to, you know, and some of the stories that have been shared on here, you know, the tough thing is like getting to them, right? Getting this podcast to them. But like I think it kind of like went in a different direction though.
Yeah.
You know, like with spirituality and stuff. We were talking about it earlier. So we're kind of, you know, we were trying to like find our way and all that. So recently we kind of come to like an agreement, you know, that we really couldn't find our direction. So we had decided to move on from the show. And like you were the last guest that we wanted to have on though. You know, we made a commitment to you and we wanted to follow up with that. So I know you probably didn't think that, you know.
wait, today's the last episode?
Yeah. So we're ending it on like a bang. Yeah.
Just getting started.
We could never really land on like what our focus was going to be. What was the focal point of the message that we're trying to get out. And so we found ourselves being all over the place with the episodes. And I think that pretty much
super hype it local.
Well, what he said, honestly, and I kind of like thought about this too, is like we're really good at getting awesome people on the show. Yeah. And like he was saying, like focusing solely on the people that we're having on and just in hearing the stories to build the community.
Find people with interesting stories in the community, bring them on. And make it hyper
That might
local.
be our niche.
And that's exactly the suggestion that I made, right? So instead of trying to get a message out to people, why don't we just focus on local talent, local entrepreneurs, community leaders, bring them on the show and just
they'll share that.
Right.
Then you'll grow.
I mean, because we are, and it's kind of like our niche. Like we enjoy like speaking to people. It kind of like fell in our lap, right?
Yeah.
But I think we got so focused on like a message that's what
you could still have a message. Like it's just like when I tell these stories in my podcast, and they're just random wrestling stories or in a thong story. But at the end of the day, there's still a message out of that. So I think there's a message in everything.
Yeah.
And that was the tough thing that we had, like finding that message.
Yeah.
So, but I do think like Better Gents kind of like, you know, at times we kind of got away from it, you know, maybe at times, focusing on self or something like that. But being a gentleman is really like, letting someone else speak.
Yeah.
So I guess, that kind of is the original route. Like we're being gentlemen, like we're letting people speak and share their stories. So I don't know what could happen or what could grow from that, or maybe the Jabari episode brings us back together. Maybe it ends with a great closing, guest.
Because there's a lot of great people here. There are a lot of great things.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Maybe you can add video on top of, like, you're already doing video. Maybe you can take it out, and then take it in sometimes. Maybe there's some video footage that you can put up of if what I'm talking about, the view. Maybe I sent you clips before, and you play some clips and pick, while we're talking. Or if somebody has some art murals somewhere, you have pictures of them, and you can show them, and then have them talk about it and what inspires them.
Sure.
There's just so many different elements. I think
there's many ways to do it.
Yeah. But this is a long ass podcast. Like, mine's only 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So how many of these air usually?
Well, we do it all, and then we cut it up into smaller episodes.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So this will be like a 25. We'll cut it up into different 25-minute segments.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you could probably get 3 to 4 episodes out of this.
Okay.
With
Yeah.
Jabari.
No, I start and I wrap that thing up.
Yeah.
I do all this editing.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too, is like, I think it would take more intense like editing.
Yeah.
And that's tough. That takes a lot of time. And
so
Chris has
many
put
people.
in a lot of time, on the tech side of things.
Yeah, of course.
Like I'm kind of like a recruiter, like going out and building a relationship, like kind of like what you like what you do with your life is building relationship, like meeting people, and that one thing leads to another, and kind of like that.
Y'all are working as a team. So
It takes time. It's hard work to build relationships.
Yeah.
You got to be out. You got to go do things. So like, we all have had like kind of like our niche. But I guess like trying to figure out how to bring that together and make them, create the message to bring it together. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the trouble is trying to explain what Better Gents is. Like when people ask us, what is your show about? We didn't have an answer. And I think that was the big problem. And if you don't have if you're not providing a specific service, what's going to keep people coming back?
You don't know your own brand.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't know your brand. You don't know what you're offering. Why are people going to keep coming back? And I think that's the big thing that we have to figure out.
Figure that out, because that's something I had to do before I had to start my show. My little thing was, what is it something that people want to come back to? What can this subject be? Like, what is the focus? I have a format. You come in with an intro, you come in positive, very positive, wake people up is the idea. People can watch this at night though too, or listen to it at night or afternoon. But the idea for me is, this is the first thing in the morning that you're brushing your teeth, you're on your way to work. It's a good morning. It's inspirational. Then I get into a story, and then I exit the story with something positive, and I leave people with like things to do, like believe in yourself, or keep dreaming this way, or don't stop on this way, and then I wrap it up. So it's a format.
Gotcha.
And I stick to that format, and it's changing. Like, not the format,
evolving.
But what's within, I think, is forever changing. And I think you just kind of once you figure out, you can tell people, this is a 5-minute basically message of inspiration, from a TV host, something like that, in the TV world, entertainment world, and I know what that is. So now I can build a show around it. Sure. So once you guys find like what you want focus on, whether if that's local artists or entrepreneurs, then you could be like, our show is about highlighting local heroes that make St. Pete better, Tampa better.
Right.
Right on.
Awesome. That's awesome advice.
Yeah, I love speaking to local art. I love speaking to everybody because I like to hear their stories.
Yeah.
Because it gives, like you said, it gives you encouragement. And all the things that we touched on, like throughout your journey right here, what you were speaking on was like fear and sacrifice and relationship and faith. And we didn't really get into like your weaknesses, or I guess to some degree you did submit. You submitted to a dream.
Yeah.
You submitted to a dream.
My fears.
Yeah.
All meadows.
And what has happened is, by you on your walk, you've defeated.
Paul Meadows on my fear. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. What is that? Paul Meadows?
Big ass cockroaches.
Oh, yeah, the palmetto bugs.
Got you.
I never saw those.
Well, you moved to Florida and they're huge.
Yeah, they're here.
Yeah. That's like the biggest. That's our well-known bug there.
You get palmettos and geckos, man. Jesus.
In the house.
Yeah, in the house, yes.
Even in here.
Yeah.
No matter how much you spray.
Mm-hmm. They'll make their way in.
I be having the insect man spray all down my drain. Just get them out. You got that whole tube down.
But you're like
Go ahead,
breaking
sorry.
generational curses. You know,
Yeah.
like the fear, the commitment, like whatever, like
It's
came
old
from
school.
yeah.
It's old school. That's why Tom Cruise. That's why
Will Ferrell, old school.
Good movie.
Tiger Woods,
Oh yeah,
James Brown, Michael Jackson. They're old school commitment.
that's true.
And I bring them up because they're black, because they imagine what they had to face in the 50s and 60s and the 40s.
Yeah, they've made it a little easier
Yeah.
on the
But
and then the
if
generations.
they
to come.
can have unbelievable setbacks because of just the color of their skins and still make it.
Yeah.
And, that's just old school. It's just pushing through.
That's huge, man. What a message.
It's a good message.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Jabari, you brought a lot of power.
I was like, what is he saying?
James Brown.
Love James Brown. Love James Brown.
He loses it.
I never liked
him.
him because I couldn't understand what he was saying.
You cannot, but I love
I was
him.
like,
He's
what
just
is-
shouting and
He's
screaming.
just
and-
shouting and moving across the stage. Then he hits you with the little split, right?
Oh yeah.
He can move.
Comes
Yeah.
back
I
up.
think that's what you want to get to though, as a musician, where you just lose yourself on stage,
Yeah.
and you don't hold back.
Yeah, no.
True musician.
And you're not really concerned about judgment or whatever people think or staying in a box.
Right.
You know,
All
like
about
that's
being
a goal.
yourself.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that everyone loves the most. It's like I love Prince because he was just so unique and he was himself and he was in a category all by himself, James Brown. And so it's like we love when someone is authentic and they're different and they're not just trying to be like everybody else.
I always tell people, be yourself. Only you can be the best version of yourself. Listen, nobody is like you. Nowhere in the world. Nobody is like you. Nobody's like you. Nowhere in the world. They may look like you. They may kind of like the same things you do, but nobody is uniquely like you. Nobody speaks like you do. Nobody thinks like you do. Use that and embrace that. Be confident in that and be you. Be authentic, and people will love that.
Yeah.
Wow, there's the message.
Unless you
right
a
there.
big loud mouth and needs to tone it down a little bit. There's some fine tuning, of course, to some things.
for sure.
but
Yeah,
You can still be yourself.
that's true.
Yeah.
Some things you might have to learn to kind of fine tune it, but you can still be yourself.
Yeah, you don't want that like ain't no one gonna tell me nothing.
Right.
You don't want that. Now, don't if that's you.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Yeah.
Watch out. Be careful.
You have to be adaptable, of course. But yeah.
Coachable.
Right.
You got to be coachable.
There's
you
some
know?
things people can't tell me something about, They can't really tell me how to, well, depending on who you are, I guess, a consultant, but they never woke up 3:00 in the morning hosting a morning show. So there's that.
Yeah.
Right.
Trying to be funny.
One of the big
Or-
things that I got from your whole message is just asking.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, like this
The
dude
worst
is,
they can
he's
say-
lived a life of
worst-
asking.
They're not going to come after you with swords. If not, they're not going to come after you with bullets. They're just going to say no.
Well, the scripture says that. It says, you have not because you ask not.
Right. Exactly.
And when you ask,
plain
you
and simple.
ask with the wrong motive or intention. So, but it's like
Ooh.
he tells us, just ask.
Yep.
Knock
Absolutely.
and the door will be open. It's like you have to be persistent.
All the time. Ask. If you see an opportunity, ask.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that if you don't ask, if you see that opportunity, it may not come back.
Mm-hmm.
That's a scary guilt to have.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
Powerful, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we thank you, man. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to
No, I'm
say or.
good. I'm done.
Yeah. You're like,
Yeah,
man, this
we're-
is a long podcast, bro.
This isn't 6 minutes.
Yeah, 6 minutes.
yeah. Well, dude, if you did it in 6 minutes, I mean, what's the math on that? You know what I mean?
You mean we cut this down?
Yeah, 6 minutes each.
Oh, we'll get like
Dude, we'll have
12 episodes.
Oh my
episodes
God.
for
I
like
would love it.
several months.
I'm actually having to try to figure out. We're trying to figure out, like, I got to tone it, like, because I'm gonna run out of stories eventually. I probably have like 20 more good ones, but we got to figure out what to do after that. So probably gonna start doing like maybe a longer one that airs once a week instead of daily.
Okay.
Because right now they're daily, so I'm just
Wow.
spitting out stories.
Wow.
Yeah.
And just trying to find
Full steam
reasons.
ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like, because I can take one story and dissect it maybe, but there's only so much of this I can do.
Yeah. Well,
have
getting
to
other
figure it
people as well, like
Yeah.
on and speaking to them. That's
Yeah.
not. That's
I I think 6 to 8 minutes is a good good time though, because a lot of people like to binge little videos on like YouTube or listen to things on like and they like to quickly get through it and like move on to something else, you know. So 6 to 8 minutes, perfect.
There's this podcast that I was actually listening to on my way here. I love it. It's called The Basement.
Yeah.
And he does like 5-minute or 7-minute ones, and then he'll do ones for like 20 minutes, 40 minutes, and then once in a while you'll have one that's like an hour. So he does those different, and it works for them. It's like in 2 months, I think they went to 60,000 subscribers in 2 months. I was like, man. But anyway, but he does short ones and then long ones. So I was like, I like that combo.
Like say you talk for 2 hours, if you focus on the story that really got you, you know, like as a producer, like, man, like out of all that story got me, let me just cut that story out and use that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of like posting all of it.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. So we were talking about this earlier. A lot of people will do a long form podcast, like an hour, 2 hours, but then they'll have a separate channel where they take they'll take clips from it, 5 minutes, 6 minute clips, and they'll have an entirely separate channel for that. And
a lot of
it
work,
works.
a lot of posts.
Right, it's a lot of posting, right? Because you're posting on that clips channel, you're probably posting 3 to 4 times a day.
Yeah.
So it is a lot of work.
Gotta listen to it over and over and try to find it. And if you're not having somebody keeping times down and stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And with you being here, like, what are some things that you would say are weaknesses, and what would you say are some of our strengths? If, just to ask you that,
Well, you got to find a brand.
Okay.
That's like you were saying, like, who are you? And find out, I kind of gear mine towards like the mornings, but it's just things like that. What works for you? Like what works for people? What do they want to hear? I don't know. I'm trying to learn this shit myself.
Yeah. We're all walking it out.
Because
I think that's how we get. I think that's how we get better, though. Is like, because you don't want everybody to come in and be like, "Yeah, man, you're so great. You do this." You can't get better like that.
Right.
That's like that's like watching film. Like I used to coach football and watching a highlight tape.
Right.
You're not going to get better like that. You got to go back and watch the games where you sucked, and you got to say, okay, what did we do wrong?
Yeah.
And I think that's how you get better.
I think you just got to focus it on something and something that's rare and that's not being done. Like I'm using elements in mine that are. Cause I've never really listened to podcasts before, and before I did this, I didn't want to because I thought about it studying a podcast, but I didn't want outside influence. I already had a vision in my head, so I ran with that instead of studying others. And I think it's weird, but other people like it. I mean, I don't know. It's not. I'd listen to it.
I mean, just by listening to you though, like you already intrigued me. But I'm a fan. You know what I'm saying?
You're a great storyteller.
Yeah, you are a great storyteller.
I've tried
very
to get
animated. Yeah.
It's one of those skills where you reach certain levels in your life where you've reached a point where you're pretty decent at doing this on TV, or you're decent doing this live in the field. Now it's kind of like, how can I tone this up? How can I become a better storyteller in a short amount of time and in a long amount of time? How can I be flexible with storytelling depending on how much time I have? So those are like some skills that you when you love your craft, you think about stuff like that.
You got your elevator message, then you got your 3-minute message, 5 and a 7.
Yeah.
And they say you should always have those ready.
Yeah.
Some advice that I had heard from speakers, so you can spit them out when you need to use them. To get your message across. But if people want to follow you, Instagram's the best way?
Yeah, Instagram, Jabari Live, TikTok, Jabari Live, Facebook.
Yeah, Jabari.live or live.
Live.
Oh, live. Okay, Jabari.
It's about the same, right?
Okay.
I did spell that right.
Yeah.
But then
but then they can go on there and they can also get to your link tree.
Yes.
Which connects to all of the things that you do.
Including the podcast. Yeah.
Including the podcast, including any movie projects that you've worked on or anything
IMDb,
that you're doing in the future.
Yeah.
We'll put all that in the description of the episode.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
And so once again, man, just thank you so much.
No problem.
For taking
Thanks
the
for
time,
having me,
man.
You did hit record, right?
Yeah. we got it this time.
That would stink, right?
My ass out here with one finger.
Yeah. I feel you. Yeah, exactly.
He's like, that's how you could improve.
Yeah, right.
But dude, I look forward to seeing you on many things, man. I know you're gonna do like you're already doing big things, man. But I know there's so much more to come from you, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And you're gonna change the world. I believe that. I mean, that's your goal, so that's gonna happen. You've already spoke that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And I don't do crack, so I'll probably live longer.
Oh yeah, that
there we
helps,
go.
man.
That
That does
definitely
help,
help.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about the not doing.
Yo, crack is whack.
Crack
man.
is whack.
Yeah, that's right. That's a message.
Yeah.
All right, love you guys. Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys.
Ciao.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. You can catch all of our episodes on YouTube and Spotify at Better Gents Podcast, and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Better Gents Pod. Thank you and take care.